One thing that you must realize as a human is that it's you who decides what's real and what's not, what makes sense and what doesn't, what's true, what's false. Even if you get it wrong, you'll still be right because you will have done the right thing. Asking questions that you don't know the answers to is the right thing to do. I do understand that we live in a world that makes people feel guilty for asking questions that they should ask. Where are we? Some people will be offended if you ask that question. Where are we? What created us? What are we doing here? People who are very religious will feel offended. Like if you grew up in a religious household and you started asking those kind of questions, they will be offended. You're not supposed to ask these kind of questions. You're supposed to believe what you're told. The truth is, it's 100% up to you to decide what is real and what is not real, what is true and what is not true, what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. It's up to you. You decide what really makes sense, what makes sense to believe. You've been here for how many years? What do you believe about this world? Forget everything that you've been told. Forget what the most dominant religion in your country teaches its followers. Forget that. Forget what you've been told at school. Forget what everyone seems to believe about this place. Ask yourself, what do I see when I look around me? How do I feel about what I see? How do other people view the world? People who are honest with themselves, how do they really view the world? How do they really feel about this world? What's your conclusion about this world? Forget what you are expected to believe. You do know that there are things that you are expected to believe as a person, and you'd actually be rewarded for believing these things. If you believe that you are having a positive experience, if you believe that life is a blessing, if you believe that God loves us, if you believe that everything is happening for a good reason, you'll be rewarded for believing that. Society will actually reward you for believing that. They will say that you have a positive mindset. And you'll be loved by people for believing that. You can get a job just because you believe that. You can be given a higher position because you believe that. Like if you truly gonna be honest, you might lose a lot of opportunities. Like if you just believe what society thinks you must believe, then you're cool. I'm saying to you, forget what society wants you to believe. Ask yourself, where am I? What does this place feel like? What does this place feel like? Do I really, really feel like I'm in a place that was created for me to thrive, for me to have fun, for me to be happy, for me to grow, for me to learn, for me to become a better version of myself. I'm in a place where I'm being trained for something. Is that what this place feel like to you? Do you really feel like you're in a place where you're learning something? You're in a place where you're supposed to be happy? You're in a place where everything is happening for your own good? Is that really how you feel? Or you tell people you feel like that because that's what people expect you to say? Because if you're going to tell them that you don't feel like that, if you're going to tell them that, hey, I don't think we are here for a good reason, I don't think this place was created for us to thrive, I do not think God is good, if there is a God. I don't believe that nature is good. Some people might not like believe that there's some God that created this, but they look at nature and say, yeah, that has to be God. Like maybe nature itself is God, or the universe is God. So whatever you believe God is, like I don't think it's good. I don't think nature is good. I don't think God is good. I don't think the universe is good. Of course, people are going to think that there's something wrong with you. If you're going to openly say, I don't think God is good, a lot of people are going to think that there's something wrong with you. There are very few people who are going to be like, okay, I want to hear what you have to say. Why do you think God is not good? Actually, you do make sense. There will be very few people who will actually understand that you actually make sense. It's not that you're wrong. It's that people have been conditioned to think a certain way and they don't even realize that. One thing that you must realize is that people can be made to believe anything. I want you to get that. People can be made to believe anything. And I really mean anything. If they decided to like do an experiment, right? Like they take kids between the age of 3 to 6, put them in a new planet, like, okay, we want these kids to believe that, yeah, to give them the Bible, to give them the Quran, like, we want these kids to believe that the God that Muslims believe in, God that Christians believe in is evil. They will be able to make them believe that easily. In fact, because that is what is true, like when you read these books, there wouldn't be that much resistance. Like if they can make us believe that a God that killed the firstborn the firstborn babies of Egypt. I think it was like boys. I don't really remember. Just because he had a problem with one guy, not even like everyone in the city, just one guy. He had a problem with one guy, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill innocent." Can't even say that because you know how to be like the YouTube bots are gonna pick that up and be like, oh, he says he wanted babies. Hey. No, there's one video that was removed from YouTube because I said something like that, and that's not what I was actually saying, right? It just sounds like that's what I'm saying because these bots are just bots. They're not very intelligent. But realize that this guy, that this religious people worship, that they are saying is good. He unalived babies because he had a problem with one guy. He didn't have a problem with those babies. He didn't have a problem with the parents of those babies. He had a problem with one guy. And he's good. He's good. He's better. He's better than all of us. With great power comes great responsibility, right? It means to be a God, you must be matured enough to put your ego aside when you're dealing with situations. Just because you have a lot of power doesn't mean that you just do anything. He unalived a lot of people in the Bible. So in a book that is supposed to make him look good, he has done a lot of horrible things, and this book openly tells us that he's done a lot of horrible things. Have you ever been in a situation where, like, maybe like a friend of yours came to you and told you, like, so let's just say they had a fight with someone, and they came to you and told you their side of the story, and you realize that they're wrong. Like they're so wrong that they can't even make themselves look good. They think they're right, but you can clearly see they're wrong, but they can't see that they're wrong. That's how Christians sound to me, like when they're defending their God. You're like, nah, man, like he's actually the one who's evil. Like, you're telling me his side of the story, and I'm realizing that he's evil. You were supposed to make him look good, but you failed because he isn't. Like, you're so damn evil that you can't even make him look good. Is it? Because if we were to be honest about what we are reading in these books are actually telling us that he's evil. That's what they're telling us. And that we must be afraid of him. Not that, we must be like him. Can you imagine, like, if we were going to be like the Christian God, like, this world would be much worse than it has ever been. Like, if we were going to be like the Christian God, because he's done a lot of horrible things. So, just because we believe what we believe, or what we've been conditioned to believe, doesn't mean that that's what we must actually believe. In fact, in a world like this, we must try our best to think for ourselves than to believe whatever we're being told. Because you can see that we're being manipulated. You see, like, we've been lied to so much that it doesn't really make sense to believe those who are in power. Those who are able to indoctrinate us, those who are able to brainwash us, those who are able to tell us about our history, like what happened in the past and all that. We have seen enough to know that they are full of shit, right? We've seen enough to know that they are full of shit. So that means that we must trust ourselves. That's why I was telling you that it's you who has to decide what actually makes sense. It doesn't matter if you think you're not intelligent enough to realize what this is. Don't even take yourself for granted. Like, you have a brain that works. Ask yourself, what am I seeing? And trust yourself, because you really do have yourself to trust at the end of the day. right? You can't be like, I'm going to trust what Benedictine is saying because I believe he's more intelligent than me. I'm going to trust what Elon Musk is saying because I believe he's more intelligent than me. I'm going to trust. There's this guy. What is his name? Is it Chris Egan or something like that? What's his name? Like I think he's supposed to be like the smartest person on earth. Like, I think he scored the highest like on some IQ test that he took. I forgot his name, but I've seen him being interviewed, and every time when they interview him, they have to mention to their audience that, hey, he's the smartest person. Like, listen, your IQ could be below 90. You have to trust yourself. You don't trust another person because you're told that their IQ is high, so they know what this is. No. You have to trust yourself. So after doing a lot of work, trying to realize where we are, like looking at everything that that I was able to look at, looking at how I was also failing, trying my best to operate from a place of strength. I've told you why that is important. Like, you gotta always operate from a place of strength. My conclusion is that we are in a place that was not meant for us to thrive. We're in a place where something else is actually benefiting from our existence here. Like, we're not really benefiting. It just seems like we are. Like, the whole thing is a scam. We're not the ones who are actually benefiting. We are, what we're going through is abuse. The way that we're being treated. When you look at the fact that we don't know anything and we're treated as if we don't deserve to know, like, that's wrong. That's abuse. Looking at how capable we are of like understanding things. Like, if we were told the truth, we'll be able to understand the truth. Like, we're like dogs. You could try to communicate with a dog and tell it what's going on. It will not be able to realize what's going on. But as humans, we are actually capable of realizing what's going on, but no one has ever told us what is actually going on. We are being controlled, being told what rules to follow. Even if we didn't decide that we want to follow these rules, just few people who actually decide that, hey, these are the rules that you must follow. You were born in this country, and in this country, these are the rules that you must follow. You don't follow these rules, you're gonna get locked up. You don't even have another option, right? You can't say, what, I don't wanna play by your rules. Can I just be excused? Can I just leave alone where I can just do my own thing? They'll be like, no, you're still in our country. These are the rules that you must follow. You can't just play by your own rules. You don't have that freedom. You don't have the freedom to say, okay, yeah, I do agree. It's like if someone gives you a contract, right? And they say, you don't have a right to not sign the contract. You don't have the right to like say, hey, this gotta change. I don't agree with this. It seems like by being born, we've actually signed a contract. We've actually said we are going to follow the rules. We are going to live life the way that we are expected to live life. We're not supposed to change things. We're not supposed to say, no, man, your rules are stupid. I don't believe in your rules. I'm not going to follow your rules. You go through abuse if you decide that you're not going to follow the rules. If you're born in a religious country, if you're not going to believe in that religion, you're going to be abused. They're going to mistreat you for real. People will judge you. People will tell themselves stories that are not true about you. Hey, you got demons. Hey, you're being influenced by the devil. They're going to hate you. they're gonna tell people that they shouldn't be around you. You know what I mean? Like it's you go through abuse for being real, for being honest, for being a human, because a human being must be free enough to be themselves, to say, hey, this is how I really feel. This is how I feel about these laws. I don't want to follow these laws. What can I do? Okay, is there a state where I can, where people who don't want to follow these laws can live in? You know, like in America, for example, if you want to smoke weed, I think you can live in California at least. That's better. But it should be like that in every country, right? Be like, hey, look, if you don't want to play by our rules, you can go and live in this place. That's where you'll be free. The people who live here are the people who are going to follow these rules. So there's a place where if the people who don't want to follow the rules that we want them to follow can live in. So you can go and live in that place. But now you don't have an option. You are supposed to play by society's rules, and if you fail, you get punished. You actually get punished. It's not like they try to help you. Like, okay, you failed to follow our rules. Why did you fail? Let's say you steal because you're poor. Society isn't going to be like, okay, you failed to follow our rules. You shouldn't steal. We don't want people who steal. So because you failed, we're going to help you. We're trying to figure out why you failed. Oh, you don't have money. Your parents died when you were still young. You grew up poor. You couldn't even go to school. We get it. Actually, this is society's fault. This is society's fault because no child should have to grow up like that. So it's society's fault. So we must help you, right? So that you don't ever have to steal in your life. Because, well, you were in a situation where it was actually logical for you to, break the law because things was too bad for you. Do you understand that you can be in a situation where things are so damn bad for you that you just have to break the law to make things better for you? Like that, some people are in those kind of situations. And things are too damn bad that life literally put them in a situation that was so bad that they literally have to break the rules to actually make things better for themselves. I was watching this video yesterday. So in South Africa, there are people who sell like food in the street, and that's not really allowed. Like in many cities, like it's not allowed. In South Africa, it's not allowed. Like they get arrested. So some of these people got arrested and decided to go on strike. They tried to have a conversation with, the people who arrested them. In fact, they didn't really arrest them. They just took their stuff. So they tried to have a conversation with them. Like, hey, okay, look, we don't have jobs. You do understand that in South Africa, there are no jobs. Like, that's what everyone knows, right? There are no jobs. People are broke. People are poor. So what should we do? Are you saying that we must steal? Because there's no other way that we can make money. That's the only way that we can make money. It's not like you guys are telling us what we should be doing. Like, you're giving us other options. There are no other options. You've created laws that make it seem wrong to actually hustle. So if we can't hustle, what should we do? Like, we are forced to break the law because of how society is structured. But you're saying that we're breaking the law by selling food in the street. But remember, there are people who want to buy food from us because, well, they're broke. It's not like people are rich here. We don't live in suburbs. We don't have money. So yes, some people want to buy apples from us. You know, they don't really care if these apples were exposed to the sun the whole day. They don't really care if these bananas exposed to the sun the whole day. This is what they can afford. So they're benefiting. So if we're breaking the law, it's society's fault. Society should have made it easy for everyone to make money so that we don't have to break the law to make money. So the fact that you are forced to live in a place where you're supposed to follow some rules that you don't have the right to say, I don't want to follow these rules. You didn't agree to follow the laws of your countries, like the country that you're from. You didn't agree. If you were born in a country where people are not allowed to drink alcohol, you didn't agree that you're not going to drink alcohol. You didn't. Let's say you're born in a Muslim country where they're like, no, you can't drink alcohol. You can't, like, you didn't agree that you're not going to drink alcohol. So if they catch you drinking alcohol and arrest you, they're actually abusing you. When you really think about it, you're not the bad guy in that situation. They're the bad guys, because you didn't agree that you're not going to drink alcohol. You didn't. You want to drink alcohol. They don't want to drink alcohol. They think it's wrong, but you do want to drink alcohol. So the one who is wrong in that situation is the one who actually abuse you for doing what you want to do because they don't want you to do it. It might seem like they're right, but they're not. And you don't have an option. It's not like you can decide, okay, let me go and live in a state where people are allowed to drink alcohol. You find that there is no state where people are allowed to drink alcohol. They're like, no one should be able to drink alcohol. It is wrong. God doesn't want people to drink alcohol, or people who drink alcohol mess things up. You know, they mess things. Even if they do, it's you want to drink alcohol. Like, don't force me to be perfect. Don't force me to live by your standards. If I want to drink alcohol and pee my pants, that's what I want. I must be free to do that, right? If I don't want to be perfect, I must be free to not be perfect. Don't force me to be perfect and say, yeah, this country is great because everyone is perfect. Everyone, no. You're abusing people. And there is no legal way out, right? That's another problem. Like, there's no legal way out. Like, people can say, you know what, look, I was born in this country. I think the rules are stupid, or I don't like the rules, you know, just to be respectful. I don't like the rules, and you're not allowing me to like, you're not allowing me to kind of like, maybe find my, like, leave alone and just break this, not necessarily break these rules, but just do my own thing, not be part of society. You're not giving me that option. So can I be allowed to exit peacefully so that everyone wins? You don't find yourself dealing with a person who's going to be breaking the rules that you've created for us, but also I don't have to follow some rules that I do not want to follow. But no, that's wrong. You just decide what's right and what's wrong, right? So based on all of that, I actually think that it's actually logical to think that we are in a place that we can call hell, right? That is why I call this a hell realm. that it actually makes sense to call this a hell realm. It actually makes sense to say this place wasn't designed for us to actually thrive and have fun and actually evolve and be, like, it was actually designed to break us. You see, if like they say that the nail that sticks out gets hammered. Like, if you are going to be very intelligent, if you're going to be exactly how a human being should be, boom, you're gonna be mistreated. You're gonna go through hell. Like, society has been conditioned to actually go against the smartest people, right? Those who are actually right. Like, if you're going to be right, society itself is going to be against you. Kids are being trained to be against those who are actually right. That is why the kids who were right when they were young, they got bullied a lot. If you got bullied a lot, chances are you were right. You were actually how a human being should be. You were yourself. You're like, oh, look at that one. That one is a weirdo. No, you're not a weirdo. You're actually being exactly how a human being should be. Like, why should you be like everyone else? Remember, people are not themselves. They are being what society is forcing them to be. So if you still found a way to stand out, even though you were being forced to be like everyone else, you're strong. Your spirit, like, you have a powerful spirit. To still be able to stand out in a society like this, you're really powerful. But because, since we're little, we're being trained to go against those who are intelligent, those who are strong, those who are themselves. You go through hell. You get bullied when you're little. As you get older, people are going to be talking shit about you. People are not going to understand you. You're not going to have friends. You're going to be alone. And yeah, you just go through hell. Because you are actually how a human being should be. You're not being what the powers that be wants you to be. How can you say that we're not in hell if we're not even allowed to grow? People being like, atheists is school, atheists is school. You do understand that those who are actually learning something, these are the people who actually go through hell. These are the people who are not being rewarded. How can this be a school? Imagine being in a class where when you get the answers right, you get punished by your teachers. What the fuck are you learning? Because that's exactly what is happening in this realm, right? Those who are good, those who are kind, these are the people who are suffering a lot. Those who are who don't care, those who are making life harder for other people, these are the people who are thriving. So does it really make sense to think that we are here to learn? This is some kind of a school. If we're here to learn, then we're here to learn to be evil. Do you understand that a lot of people are becoming selfish now? Because of how they've experienced life. Because they weren't being rewarded for being good, and they're tired of suffering. They weren't even being good because they wanted to be treated well, or they wanted to benefit in some way. They were just being good because they are good, but they realize that they suffer for being good and they do not want to suffer. So they're becoming selfish. Like, oh, why should I be a good person if I'm suffering for being a good person? What am I benefiting from being a good person? So they're learning to be evil. They're learning to be heartless. If it's me against the world, then I'll be heartless. Because what can I do? Maybe that's the only way to survive. Because at the end of the day, we still gotta survive. So if you're gonna be like a very good person, you can end up exiting on your own because of what life is throwing at you, what life is throwing your way. You're like, I can't deal with this. So it really doesn't make sense to believe that this is a school, because nobody's learning anything. People are just becoming more and more horrible. It's not like we're better than we were years ago. It's not like our generation is better than the previous generation, because if we're learning something, then we must be better. But we're not better. We're worse. We're becoming more selfish now. In fact, what we're realizing is that people are cold. And that's making us cold. Like being a kind person, now is considered being stupid, actually. If you're really going to be kind and then suffer the consequences of being kind, people will think that you're stupid. And they will tell you that you're stupid. Well, why did you trust that person? Like, trusting a person is a bad thing. Why did you trust that person? Why did you help that person? Why did you allow that person to live in your house? You found that person in the street, they had nothing, and you brought them into your house and allowed them to live with you. Wow, you stupid. Like, what? But I thought that was the right thing to do. Isn't that what we're supposed to be learning? To help one another? If we are here to learn? So yeah, I've helped this person and this person stole from me. How am I the bad guy now? Why am I the one who's suffering? Why is it that they're the one who actually won and I'm the one who's actually suffering? I like how that guy is looking at me. Probably think I'm just talking to myself. This has been staring at me like for a very long time now. People are being punished for being good. People are being punished for being good, bro. In fact, a lot of people who are broken, these are people who are good. Let me tell you something. Most people who have screwed up a lot in life and suffered the consequences, they're still very strong. You want to know why? Because they understand why they're suffering. Like, if I'm going to mess things up and I deal with the consequences, I'm not going to feel like a victim, because I'm not a victim in that situation. Let's say I was born in a rich family. My parents had money and I stole their money, bought whatever I bought, like nonsense. And I ended up suffering because of that. Like, let's just say they ended up dying and, leaving me some money, and I just, blow it all up. I'm not going to feel like a victim, because I know exactly why I'm suffering, right? I'm not going to feel like a victim in that situation because I know why I'm suffering. But if I do everything right and still suffer, then I'm going to feel like a victim. You do everything right and you still suffer, of course you're a victim. How is it that you're suffering if you're doing everything right? You are being a good person, you work hard, you work smart, you're doing what you are supposed to be doing, and still you find yourself suffering. It's like the world is against you for real. That's when you actually feel like a victim. And that's how most people feel, because they've been doing things right, they've been kind, they're broken, They went through hell for doing the right things. You failed in a grade for actually coming up with the right answers. And while those who were coming up with the wrong answers were passing. Can you imagine how that will make you feel? So you're coming up with the right answers, but you're failing. And then some kids be coming up with some wrong answers. They're not even serious, but they're passing. And you're like, what the hell? What kind of school is this? What am I learning? So I'm supposed to be coming up with the wrong answers. Is this one I'm going to pass? But how am I going to fail if I'm going to be coming up with the wrong answers? Because I want to learn. It's not like I'm trying to devolve. I'm trying to evolve. So I need to figure out what the right answers are so that I can keep on evolving. Because if I'm supposed to come up with the wrong answers, I'm not going to evolve. So this can't be a school, bro. We got it twisted. It's not a school. We're not learning anything. It's not a place for us to thrive because we're not actually thriving. You can see that we're not supposed to have peace. You even feel like something's wrong. Like if all the problems that you have in a country got fixed, right? If all the problems that you have in your countries got fixed, what will happen is that everything will feel wrong because you're not used to things being right. Like you're not used to things being okay. That's the things. Hey, how are you? I'm great. Sure. Like would feel like something is wrong. Would feel like something is wrong because we're not used to peace. Like when things are going too well in my life, I would feel like something is wrong. That's the thing, because I'm not used to things being good. It always feels like a setup. It always feels like a setup. Like someone is purposefully making things good so that when things start going wrong, I will suffer more. Like if you're used to things being wrong, it gets to a point where you're not even suffering anymore. If you realize that. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say they tell you now that you won $1 million. You're gonna get it in January. You won $1 million. You're gonna get it in January. How would you feel? You feel happy, right? That will solve most of your problems. Because I think most people, they have, like, most of the problems can be fixed with money. Like most of the problems that they have, even though money doesn't buy happiness, but you still got problems that can be fixed with money. Problems that you don't want to deal with anymore. So you'll be happy. Because because like you're anticipating something. And you think that that's gonna make your life better, so you'd be happy because of that. Let's say on the 25th of December, they tell you that, oh no, it was just a prank. You feel much worse than you've ever felt this year. Why? Because you believed that things were going to be better for you. Right? Or let's say you do get the money but then it gets stolen. So you get the money on the 1st of January, and then on the 15th of January, you lose all of it. You're going to feel much worse than you've ever felt. So sometimes it feels like life does that to us. It's like it gives us things so that we'll feel the pain of losing these things that it gives us, right? While we didn't feel, we didn't feel this pain while we didn't have these things. It's like if you get into a relationship, let's just say you've been single for a year, and then you get into a relationship. You date this person for maybe 3 months, and then you guys break up. You're gonna feel worse than you felt the whole time you were single. Why? Because you had your hopes up, right? You believed that things were gonna be better, and so I think that's how life touches us. It's like, oh, let's make things better for this person for a while so that they will suffer. It's like if you give a baby a sweet, and then you take it away from them before they eat it, or while they're eating it. They're gonna feel much worse than if you didn't give them a sweet at all. So it seems like life does that to us. Like it puts us in situations where things seem like they're going to be good, where things seem like they're going to be better, and then boom, things become much worse. Seems like a setup. But yeah, when I look at reality, I try to look at it from a place of strength. I don't look at reality, be like, oh yeah, I'm so sad that these things are like this. I feel this way, and I feel like I can't control my emotions when I look at the world and all that. No. I look at the world from a place of strength. I try to be as strong as possible, and try to figure out what makes sense to believe. I actually do try to put my emotions aside. Be like, okay, this is how I feel. I get that, but let me see what I really think. So yeah, I do feel like I'm in a hell realm, but let me put my emotions aside for now. Let me focus on what I think. Shit, I think I'm in a hell realm. My emotions are actually responding to what is actually happening. So my emotions are not lying to me. I'm not feeling like I'm in a hell realm because I'm weak. So I feel like I'm in a hell realm. No. I'm actually in a hell realm, and I feel like I'm in a hell realm because I'm actually in a hell realm. People need to be as honest as possible. That's when they'll actually be able to see what is going on. When we lie to ourselves, we actually put a wall between us and the truth, and just believe in our own delusion. I think it's important to realize that this room is not good, so that we won't want it anymore, right? If we chose to be here, like some people believe, we won't choose to come back here because we would have realized how horrible it is. Like, we would have been conscious enough to realize how horrible. It's like if you were in a toxic relationship and you don't realize, let's just say that relationship ended and you don't realize it was a toxic relationship, and it wasn't going to get better. Your chances of going back are high, right? But let me go back. But if you realize, okay, it was a toxic relationship and there was nothing that I would actually be able to do to make things better, chances of you going back are very low. But like, no, I'm not going back because it was a toxic relationship. Why should I go back to a toxic relationship? So if we realize how bad things are, then there won't be any part of us that will want us to come back here. Maybe that's why when as we grow older, we realize that we don't have nightmares anymore. Like when I was young, I used to have dreams where I was being chased by some monsters. Like I've had many dreams when I was young where I was being chased by monsters. But as I got older, I stopped having those kind of dreams. I stopped having those kind of dreams. Maybe because it's because I really didn't want to have those kind of dreams anymore. So my subconscious stopped creating those kind of dreams. So maybe we must really not want this world to not come back here. Maybe people keep on reincarnating back here because there's a part of them that wants this world, right? Because some people actually hate this world because of how bad things are for them. You find that if things were better for them, they will actually love their experience here. I know a lot of people who would actually love their experience here if things were better for them. They'll be like, oh, my problem is that I'm broke. If I was rich, if I had more money than other people, then my life would be better because I'll be stunting on everyone. I'll be driving fancy cars. I'll be living in a mansion. I'll be wearing expensive clothes and people will be looking up to me. That's what would make me happy. You find that you actually love this. You actually love being better than others. You just hate that you're not better than others now. So you do want to be in this realm. You just hate your situation. You just hate your current situation. But there are some people who are like, I don't love this realm, bro. Like this place is evil. You know, even if I was rich, I still wouldn't love this realm. I mean, yeah, I would enjoy being rich, but it wouldn't mean that I would love this realm. I would just enjoy being rich because, yeah, you do enjoy being rich, right? Like if you have money, there are lots of things that you're not getting that you'll get. So yeah, you'll enjoy that. But you still feel like you don't love this world still. You don't like how things are. You have to be so conscious that you realize how wrong everything is here. Maybe that's how you free yourself. Thank you all, guys.